Most anime use a title card, or some way to introduce the title for their episode. It's usually unobtrusive and forgettable, but sometimes it can make a statement on the kind of show you're about to watch. In Infinite Revise's case, it isn't the title card itself that makes as much of a statement, but rather the tune that's attached to it. Similarly, many anime have what's called an eye catch, that bit of animation or still in the middle of an episode that indicated a commercial break, and it can have the same unobtrusive but sometimes noticeable statement.
Ryvius.
I find Ryvius' eye catch and title cards introductory examples to what the soundtrack to this show has to offer. The soundtrack, composed by Katsuhisa Hattori and Mid, is spread across 3 albums and comprises of 3 genres of music. The first album acts as a sort of overview or best hits of the series, while the second and third soundtracks feature Hattori and Mid's contributions respectively. Soundtracks of mixed genres are by themselves interesting, but not impressive on their own since there are numerous shows that feature mixed genres. What makes Hattori's Ryvius soundtrack especially remarkable is its defined usage of each genre as well as the seamless application of each genre. For a soundtrack to be great, in my perspective, it isn't simply how good the tracks are by themselves, but how they enhance the anime they're used in. Berserk 97's soundtrack sounds supernatural and inhuman, so the world of Midland is kept mysterious and hostile. And Gundam Thunderbolt's mix of jazz and pop, reflecting each protagonist's musical tastes. Hattori brands each genre of music he uses to a faction of characters in Ryvius, as well as the type of situation the cast runs into along the way. The most attention-grabbing genre on display here is hip-hop. Which is the genre that Mid's album mostly features. The album itself is an amalgamation of a bunch of different artists, including Mika Arisaka, who sings the opening and ending themes, DJ Masa, DJ Etsu, Atrika Bambata, and Smooth B. Yeah, I'd love to hear how they got involved with this project too! Not only is this a pretty unique genre for an anime to use on its own, but I love its application in the show. It reflects the fast and loose bad boy nature of the Team Blue faction, and it sets the tone in scenes where the characters are in casual public areas, as if this is the kind of music the kids are listening to. Beyond the handful of tracks that sample vocals rapping the ship's namesake, the third album has a good number of vocal tracks that are not really featured in the show, but I suggest giving them a listen if you can find them. The second and probably most featured genre is Hattori's contribution of orchestral music. Strings, drums, trumpets, and even harps are utilized. It's the kind of track that features in most traditional sci-fi anime of the time, like Evangelion or Argento Soma, or most notably, Legend of the Galactic Heroes. It reflects the more straight-laced, uniform-clad elite class of characters known as the Zwei Cadets. These tracks are used in the more plot-heavy moments of Ryvius, when the cast deals with outside forces or internal conflicts. Hattori also layers in synths and keyboard sounds to add a more alien science fiction flavor. Now, the Zwei Cadets and Team Blue are near total opposites, and the last and most subtle genre of music is reserved for the ones caught in the middle, between these two factions, more specifically the main characters. They are respectful and keep to the order of things like the Zwei, but they aren't stuffy and have a better pulse on the rambunctious attitude of the ship as a whole, like Team Blue. To best reflect the sophisticated nature of orchestral music with the fast and loose nature of hip-hop, what you get is my personal favorite genre of the 3, jazz music. Piano, some guitar, and that clarinet, boy! To add to jazz's application of bridging the gap between Zwei and Team Blue, it also bridges the casual with the plot-heavy, so it's used mainly for private emotional moments between the characters. this already highlights how strong Infinite Ryvius' soundtrack is, but like all legendary soundtracks, there is a cherry to top it all off. This whole soundtrack of mixing genres culminates in 2 tracks that I can only describe as magical. A jazzy piano sample is accompanied by a simple hip-hop drum beat, and 30 seconds into the track Nowhere, everything explodes. A voice sample and a violin track are layered in, representing the orchestral genre and hip-hop genres complementing each other, on top of this jazzy spine of a sample, as if the Zwei cadets and Team Blue are talking over each other like they do in the show. A clarinet reflecting the main characters interjects the two, and each layer takes a turn on their own before divulging together in harmony once again. A track that literally reflects the conflict of the show blows my mind, and is probably the single most impressive track I've heard from an anime soundtrack. But we shouldn't leave out the other notable track that marries these diverse genres together. Easy Living leads with a funky guitar sample that sounds like it's playing on an old record, and kicks with a jazzy piano into a drum and electronic beat, layered over with this duet violin melody that lend that classical flavor to this eclectic jam session. While it doesn't have as defined a progression as Nowhere, the coexistence of these styles of music is representative of the show, and how the diverse cast of characters must learn to coexist. And last but not least would be the genre-crossing GOAT tracks, Nowhere and Easy Living. If you've listened to the soundtrack, let me know some of your favorite tracks in the comments, or even some of your favorite soundtracks from anime. Thanks so much for watching.